We have 4 gel pockets, which means the thighs are fully protected. This is a pretty narrow pocket, absolutely overpriced. One of the things that changed when I started running was my view of activewear completely changed. I am constantly trying new gym outfits at the gym, and honestly, I have so many workout clothes because that's just like what I do on this channel. But when I'm running, I'm constantly reaching for the same sets that I know will perform well and won't get in the way of my run. So if I had tried this brand before I started running, I think that a lot of the features would go completely over my head. But now that I have been running, I'm looking at all the features on the website and I'm like, okay, yeah, I see why we might need 6 pockets in 1 pair of running shorts. Anyways, today we're doing a review of the clothing brand Bandit. They are a running focused clothing brand. And a lot of you guys had recommended their pieces to me after I did my running leggings review, running shorts review, and I don't know why I never included them in those videos, but they just weren't on my radar. And while they are loaded with features to help with running, we want to make sure that they actually fit well and are functional as well. If you're new here, my name is Catherine. We do a lot of activewear reviews, and lately we've been getting into running clothing reviews as well. They're just kind of fun to see how things perform. I've been picky about activewear for years. When it comes to running clothing, I am even more picky. So we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty. In terms of some logistics and order experience with Bandit, I did notice they had a 21-day return policy. It's a little bit less than usual, usually like a 30-day, because if I ever need to return something, frankly, I'll just forget about it for a month and then I just need some time. It also took about 1.5 to 2 weeks to arrive, so their shipping was a little bit slow. And when I was at checkout, if you guys are online shoppers like me, I'm sure you've seen the rise of this route package protection thing. Normally it's like $2 to $3. Personally, I always opt out because I like take the gamble. Maybe if I have a really big package and it's like $2 to $3, I'm like, okay. But for my Bandit order, the route package protection, I'm not even kidding, was $20. And if you don't pay the $20 and your package gets lost, they're just like, oh, not our problem. This is absolutely not specific to Bandit, but the $20, I've never seen it be as high as $20. Alas, I did not pay for that and I received all my items, so it wasn't a problem. A little more about the brand. They are kind of a higher price point. Their sports bras are in like the $70 range. The shorts are in the $80 range, and I think the leggings were $118. So these are basically Lululemon prices, which I'm generally not used to paying that much, but if it's a really good piece, I could see it, and maybe if they go on sale. They're definitely a running focused brand. They basically have all performance materials, and I really liked the short options that they had. So we have like 4 different short options I'll be reviewing today. They load everything up with pockets for gels, phone, drawstring waistbands, and non-slip lining for your shorts. And the big reason I tried this brand was because they have no front seam on their shorts, and this might be the first running brand that I've seen have no front seam on the shorts. I'm also trying to review LKSD soon. It might be LSKD. I don't know, but they weren't shipping to the US for a while, so that one's on hold. They also seem to be sold out of things a lot, but things did come back in stock, so probably everything I'm reviewing like might be sold out, but it should be coming back. It seems like they do pretty frequent restocks, and their size range is extra small to extra large. I would like to see it be like at least like a 2 or 3X. So like I said, I got quite a few pieces, so let's get into the review. Before we continue, I'd like to thank Thrive Market for sponsoring this video. As an active girl who's constantly testing running clothing like we're doing today, I have to stay energized. And one of my favorite ways to stay stocked up on my favorite foods and snacks is Thrive Market. They're a membership-based grocery store that is actually online, so you can get all of your favorites delivered right to your door. And they offer savings on every purchase, so you always know you're getting the lowest price. As a busy girl, I hate having to go to 2 to 3 grocery stores just to find all of my favorites, which I was doing, but come to find out, Thrive Market actually has all of my favorite snacks all in one place. Also, being able to shop for these things online makes it easier, so I don't just buy everything in sight at the grocery store. I can actually be more methodical about what I'm putting in my cart, thinking, do I actually need this or am I just hungry? I also can check what I still have in my cupboard because I can't be the only one who forgets everything that I still have at home the moment I step out the door. They also make it really easy to shop if you have any dietary restrictions or allergies. They have 90+ different diets to shop from, including organic, low sugar, and also high protein, so it makes it really easy to find those snacks with little effort. Not only is it convenient, but they also guarantee the lowest prices, so you're getting the best of both worlds. They also have a really meaningful mission behind the brand. They have Thrive Gives. So for every paid annual membership, they give a free membership to someone in need, such as low-income families and teachers. It allows them to have access to all the great foods they have on their website. I just love that they're saving me time and money and delivering all of my favorite things that I already loved straight to my door and just making life easier. Make sure to click the link in the description box or go to thrivemarket.com/Catherine Mueller to receive 30% off your first order and a free gift when you join Thrive Market today. Now that we're fueled up, let's get to testing some running clothes. First, we are trying the Stamina high waist 5-inch compression shorts. They have a good mix of these longer biker style shorts as well as loose style shorts. I honestly have not run in a loose short in a while. If you have thighs, you just have to go with a biker style short. So I'm really glad that they have both. It's not just like all looser style shorts. And they seem to have two main fabrics, their Stamina fabric, and then I think it's their Vento fabric. So all of their slim fitting items are made of this Stamina fabric. It is an 83% polyester, 17% spandex. And first impression is the fabric is very nice. It's a very nice performance material and it has that cool to the touch feel, but it's not shiny and cheap looking. So I always prefer like more matte fabric. Here's a close-up of that fabric. And on this short specifically, as well as the matching sports bra, they do have this silicone print that's said to kind of add compression to the shorts. So to really just hold you in. So I think that's a nice feature. So these are definitely their most traditional looking short. We have a double thickness waistband, no front seam. We have that silicone detail on the front of the waistband here, as well as the pockets and the back of the waistband. The gusset on the shorts extends all the way down the leg, which I do love an extended gusset. That also kind of moves the seam from being right in between your legs to kind of like on a little bit outer. They have two side pockets, and then in the back we have a straight across waistband, and then we do have a full zip pocket in the back. And one thing that I love about their pockets that they thought about is they actually have a waterproof liner. So they have this like plastic liner on the inside of the shorts so that when you put your phone in there, they actually put that on the side pockets too. So if you've ever been running and you've ever been sweating, you know that when you put your phone in there, it like fogs up the screen. Your phone just gets wet in a traditional pocket. So this prevents that moisture from getting onto your stuff in the pockets, which is a great feature. And then we have a bunch of features on the inside. On the inside of the waistband, we have 4 gel pockets. So lots of pockets going on in that waistband. There is a little top stitch that goes all the way around the short, just so it can support that little draw cord on the inside of the waistband. And the last feature is they have this silicone grip tape. They were talking a lot about this on the website, so it seems promising. Here's that little grip tape. It looks like it's going to be pretty good and it doesn't feel super restricting. It's also not 360 around the short, so it's not at the pocket or at the gusset, which I think will help keep that silicone from just like sausaging your thighs, because that's definitely a concern for me. So let's try it on. Okay, I was a little bit nervous about how these were fitting at first, but I do think they've kind of settled and they're feeling a little bit better now. So we do have a high rise, basically hits me right at the small of my waist. I think after running, maybe they would be more of a mid to high, but we'll say high rise for now. Double thickness waistband, it does have good thickness to it. And I think the silicone pattern detail is actually a nice little feature to add a little bit more compression and also have some tonal detailing that's not super in your face. I honestly was expecting this material to be a little bit more compressive. The only area I'm feeling compressed is at the bottom of the thighs. So everything else is feeling like more like low to medium compression. So interested to see how that feels in other styles. In terms of sizing, I would say mostly true to size. I feel like they run a little bit bigger in the waist than they do in the thighs because it's tight on the thighs, and honestly I do have a little bit of room in the waist. It's not a ton, and I think maybe it's just some extra room so that you can put a phone or things in the pockets there. But at least these shorts, I'm not sure these are the best options for the thick thigh girlies. They're 5-inch, so where my thighs rub together, they are covering right now for the most part. Actually, I still have some thigh at the bottom, so this is why I prefer a 7-inch short, because for me a 5-inch doesn't cover my entire thigh or the part that touches when I run. We have that silicone detail on the inside. I'm not sure if I'm getting this kind of compression from that or it's just the thigh seam that's tight. All right, now let's check the pockets. So we have, oh my gosh, I knew these pockets looked kind of small. Okay, so honestly, this is a pretty narrow pocket. I have like the 13 Pro, but not the Max. So if you have a Max, this will not fit. So I am able to get my phone into the pocket, but I have to say, if I'm running and I'm like checking like where I'm going and I want to be able to take my phone in and out easily, I have to say this is not really going to be like an easy in and out. Like to do that while I'm running would be a challenge. We do have that back zipped pocket. That might be a little bit easier. Okay, yeah, I'm just not really feeling like my phone is going to fit in here if I'm ever able to get it out. So I'm not loving the pocket size. I feel like they could be a little bit bigger. We do have those gel pockets all along the inside of the waistband. I feel like personally, I'd like the gel pockets on the outside because I feel like the gel packets would kind of like poke into you a little bit too much if they're on the inside. And then these are running shorts, so they're not going to be super flattering on the glutes. Just about a medium on the booty scale. We have the seam goes right above the glutes there, but they're not squishing me down. These, again, aren't super compressive, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, I was very excited about the features of these shorts, but they just don't really fit what I'm looking for. We do have that draw cord as well that will help tighten up the waist area, but for me, these wouldn't be super functional just because it's too difficult to get my phone in and out, and they're just a little bit on the short side for me. But the length, I already knew. That's why we got a 7-inch short coming up. Although these are a bit short for me, I do feel like the grip tape is kind of keeping them in place for the most part, and you kind of need that thigh seam to be a little tight to keep it in place. So I think that feature definitely helps. To go with those shorts, I got the Stamina Scoop Neck Run Bra. I got a size small, and this was $72. And my current favorite running bra is $32 on Amazon. It is nice to have a set that goes together, but I'm a little spoiled with how affordably priced my current favorites are. I'll link those two that I just talked about down below. Anyways, we have that Stamina material, and we have that little silicone detail for the added compression. So we have a scoop neck. All of their logos are reflective, by the way, so that's also a nice safety feature. The bottom hem of the sports bra is actually a seamless bonded edge. Here we can see the bottom there. So it's meant to reduce chafing. Sometimes though, these bonded seams can actually be like a little bit sharp. So we'll see how that holds up. We have 2 gel pockets, one on either side of the sports bra there. And then there's another waterproof lined phone pocket on the back of the racer back, which is a great feature because as much as you can do like a running belt or running vest, it is nice sometimes to just throw on your running clothes and have them be able to hold everything that you need. We have a little cutout in the back, and then this bra does have removable cups, but for a $72 sports bra, I am not loving this cup. It's very small given the actual bust space of this bra. It should just be taking up more space, and it's also quite thin and not in the like flexible way that's like intentional, just like not a great quality pad. So that is a little upsetting to see that they're cutting corners on that when it's a $72 bra. I have a feeling a lot of runners just take out their pads, but I like my cup pads. When a cup pad is chosen correctly, it adds a lot of shaping, it adds a little extra support, the nippage protection, and I just like them. So let's try this on. All right, here's the sports bra. This one is feeling good. I feel a lot of good compression in this one, and it feels very true to size. Like I'm being compressed in the size, but it's not cutting in anywhere. So I'd say very true to size. We have this scooped neckline, and even though there's no elastic in the underbust, it does have that double bonded area, and that sits really nicely against the upper rib cage. So I'm liking how this fits. It does come up a little bit into the armpits, but the fabric is pretty soft, so it shouldn't be an issue for chafing. Full coverage support, I would go medium to high support. I think personally, I could run in this. I think it's enough support for most chest sizes, but if you have a very large bust and you are used to adjustable straps, this is not going to be the highest of high support. But for a good variety of people, I do think this could work. We have that silicone detailing along the bottom. We have those gel pockets at the side. I like that with all their pockets, they're doing those bonded edges. That just kind of elevates it a little bit. All right, and then now's the test if we can fit my phone in the back phone pocket. Okay, that went in a lot better than the leggings. I do feel like I could run with my phone there and pretty easily take it out. So I'm liking the pockets on this top a lot better. I think they're actually quite a bit more functional than the leggings. They call them like anti-bounce pockets, so I know they need to be tight, but to be honest, none of my other pockets are very difficult to get things in and out of on the running shorts that I wear consistently, and they're not bouncing around. If you're wearing a shorter legging that's not too big for you, like they shouldn't be bouncing around. Comes up maybe a little bit high in the lat area, but I'm not doing a gym workout in these, so it doesn't matter too much. So I expected to like the shorts more than the bra, but I actually think I'm liking this bra more than the shorts. The only thing though is the cup pads are literally tiny. They're like here, and I'll try to move them down a little bit, but I'm just not a big fan of the cup pads. Now I move them down and they're barely covering. This sports bra has a good amount of coverage. Why are the pads like an inch? I know they're not actually an inch, but they're just too small. So that's one thing I would change. All right, these were the shorts I was very excited to try. These are the Stamina 7-inch compression shorts. I got a size small and these are $78. I think this is one of their best selling shorts, and they were mostly in 5-inch, but they also come in 7-inch, and 7-inch is my favorite length for running shorts. As a girly with some thighs that touch, 7-inch just covers them well with like a little room to ride up just like a bit and still leave my thighs covered. So we have that Stamina material. You don't have any of that silicone lining on this one. We have no front seam, extended gusset down the leg. We have 2 side phone pockets with that little waterproof lining. The thigh opening seam does have that silicone grip tape. We have another zip pocket across the back of the short. This one does not have any of that waterproof lining. I prefer to put my phone on these side pockets. And then you have their signature elastic waistband with a drawstring, which I feel like kind of just gives the shorts some character, but there are no actual gel pockets in this one, although you could easily just put them in this little back stash pocket. So let's try these on. Okay, trying on the first shorts made me a little nervous, but I think that Bandit is redeeming themselves because I like these so much more. First of all, I was very worried that, I don't know why I was just worried that this brand in general was gonna run super small. I don't know why, but it's really actually very true to size. Wearing my normal size small fits well here. I was able to tighten the waistband a little bit, and it's not loose in the waistband, but it's nice to have that adjustability. I also was worried that these shorts would be very low rise, but they're actually a nice mid to high rise, just like right under the belly button. I feel like this is totally fine for a running short, and we got the 7 inches, which means the thighs are fully protected. I just love a 7-inch short for running. For the gym, 6-inch. Running, 7-inch all the way. So we have that elastic waistband, actually very soft along the inside and really not cutting into me at all. The first shorts, for example, they have that little drawstring on the inside, but then they also have the top band at the top. So that does leave a little bit of area for cutting in. These have a drawstring along the middle of the elastic, so it's not really cutting in. No front seam and no tension happening there. That reflective logo. And then we have that grip tape on the thighs here. Something I've learned about running shorts is you do need compression at the thigh opening, or else they're just gonna slide up a lot. And I feel like these have just enough tightness along the thighs that they're gonna keep them in place. I am going to take these shorts on a run to see how they perform, to see how this fabric does with sweat. But in general, liking these a lot more on the thighs. Okay, then we go to the side, and I hope I can fit my phone a little bit more easily. Okay, see, this is sliding in. That was so much easier. Why were the first ones so difficult? Maybe it was because the first ones had that silicone layer on the outside, but I feel like I'm gonna be able to run. Yeah, there's no bounce going on there. Get my phone out while running, put it back in. See? That's what I want. I want to be able to do that easily. So side pockets are approved. And I also think I'm going to love this little waterproof lining feature because call me a cringe influencer all you want. I do film myself when I run, so I'm often taking my phone out, and when my camera gets all foggy, the videos aren't good. Right, then here's the back. Seems to go above the glutes, not squishing the glutes down. These are still only like a light to medium compression. They're honestly, I would not consider these compression shorts at all. They're just a stretchy performance material. It does contour to the body well, so it's not saggy, but it's just not super compressive. Medium on the booty scale, not a lot of cellulite coverage, just because performance materials tend to hide cellulite a little bit less. Then we have that nice zip pocket here. Can fit a couple gels in here, but it's definitely not big enough for a phone back there. All right, I'm gonna do a run test and we'll report back. Okay, so results of the run test. I ended up doing about a 5K this morning in the shorts. And for the waistband, I think it definitely settled like a little bit lower than expected, but still stayed in that kind of mid to high range. I think overall for these compression shorts, honestly, none of the compression pieces really felt super compressive to me. I do think they all run like maybe a teeny bit big. So if you're in between sizes, I definitely would be choosing the size down, especially if you're looking to feel that compression that they say that they have. The inseam also did ride up about 1/2 inch as well. That's pretty common for shorts for me. They kind of ride up 1/2 inch, but then after that, they didn't move. They still covered the bulk of my thighs, so my thighs were nice and protected. Didn't feel any chafing anywhere. And then as for sweat, they kind of performed like most performance materials. They did show sweat, but it felt sweat wicking, so it didn't really feel like it held on to a lot. In this color specifically, I didn't feel like it showed a lot, but it was definitely showing and still showed after 20 minutes. So that's kind of standard. I've only had one fabric ever that didn't show any sweat, and those were the Vento performance leggings. Every single other fabric that says it's not showing sweat actually does still show some sweat. Last thing I will say about these shorts, I feel like the gusset was sitting forward like just a little bit too far. I'd like if the gusset was a little bit further back because you're definitely seeing it from the front. But overall performed very well in the run, and I'm definitely going to be running in them again. Now moving into their loose shorts, we have their Vento 4-inch run short. I got this in a size small, and this was an $88 short, so quite expensive. So their Vento material is an 83% nylon, 17% spandex, and it's actually a very soft shell material with a little bit of give to it. Usually the soft shell materials don't have a ton of stretch, so I wouldn't say it's like super stretchy, but it's got a little bit of give. And with their Vento material, they do bonded seams on all of the edges, as well as a little laser perforation detail. So here's an up close of that. This is that fabric, a little bit of give to it. We have those bonded seams, and then you have the laser vented detail to keep these nice and lightweight. So these are meant to be a 4-inch inseam, but I just measured them and they're actually only a 3.5-inch inseam at the most. They also come up a little bit on the sides there. We have a ruched waistband with a drawstring. You have that little tunnel loop in the back to hold a towel, a shirt, again, something that I still probably don't really use very much, but it is nice to have. Then in terms of lining, these do have a brief lining. It feels like a pretty lightweight, high stretch material on the inside. And then on that liner, they put in 4 little gel pockets as well. So they still max out the pockets. While you wouldn't be able to put a phone in here, at least you can carry some gels. Just kidding, one of the pockets is actually meant to be a phone pocket with that waterproof liner. So we'll see if it actually fits my phone because it looks a little bit small. So let's try it on. I wasn't expecting how mid-rise these were gonna be. They fit kind of awkward. This is the issue with loose style running shorts. I feel like it looks like I'm wearing them backwards, but I'm not. Anyways, I'm gonna give these a mid-rise because this is kind of where they want to sit. I feel like I can pull them up a little higher in the front, but in the back, because my glutes are taking up space, I don't feel like they're quite long enough in the back, and they kind of dip down a little bit in the back. So it may not be for my small waist, large hip and glute girlies. Right off the bat, these are just not my typical running short just because of the rise and the fit. But anyways, we have that elastic waistband. It does fit overall true to size. I like that we have the adjustable waistband, and I also like that their drawstrings are not stretchy. The stretchy drawstrings can almost just allow too much give. We have that 3.5-inch inseam on the short there, covering the thighs well, but we all know from my running short video that there is not a short that doesn't ride up. So that's just not how shorts physics works. If you have thighs, they're gonna eat up a loose short. We have a little tulip style hem on the side here, but it's not actually a split hem, so you're not really exposing anything on the side. Very lightweight, breathable material. I really like how this feels in general. And then I would say my fit is a little bit diapery. That's just because these really aren't built with people with a larger hip to waist discrepancy. The average difference in someone's waist to hip measurement is 10 inches, and mine is closer to 12 to 13 inches. So because of that, we can kind of get this fit. I would still consider these true to size because if I sized up, it would be too loose in the waist. Then I wanted to just test out this little loop situation. You kind of pull your shirt through there. And then when you take off your shirt when you're running, you have a place to put it. And then this is the one I think with the phone pocket that I have a feeling is just not going to fit a phone. I don't know what kind of phones they're trying to fit in these pockets, but okay, just kidding. I take it back. Okay, so you can fit a phone in the pocket, but this is what it looks like. So again, not super ideal, but at least they give the option to put a phone back there. So in a pinch, it works. Then lastly, that inner brief. This material is super stretchy, and even though I think that this area could be a little bit smoother, it does feel like it's gonna stay in place very well just because it is a little bit on the tight side. So it is kind of cutting in to my glute a little bit, but it doesn't feel too tight. It just feels secure. So this doesn't really suit my body type, but I do think these shorts are nice. All right, I wanted to try one of their tanks because I do not like wearing a lot of layers when I run. I just feel very hot very quickly, especially when it's the summer. So their lightweight micromesh tops really appealed to me. So this is the women's Micromesh run tank. This is a size small, and $65 for this guy is quite a bit. So even if I like it, I'm not sure I would splurge on it. It is an 84% polyester, 16% lycra, and it's like a little stretch jersey knit. Here's an up close of the fabric, stretchy jersey. It really doesn't feel like anything too unique. We have a crew neckline with a drop shoulder. Looks like it'll be about a high hip length, and there are some reflective details on the front and back. So whenever you see their logoing on their clothing, it's actually reflective. All right, here's this top. I definitely like that you can get a top that kind of coordinates with the whole outfit. I do love a little matching moment, but you know, you can get me to pay a higher price point for something where a lot of thought is put into the design. Like the shorts, for example, I feel like they have a lot of good features. They feel really well made. I'll also splurge for like a really nice sports bra that is very high impact. And again, you can just see the design and the quality, but I feel like $65 for this shirt is absolutely overpriced. Like I feel like max I would pay is like $30 for a shirt like this. And even that, like the material is truly nothing revolutionary. It's just like a jersey mesh, like what kids play soccer in. And $65 is just quite steep for this. And it doesn't have any features. So if you really wanted to put together an outfit, it's not a bad top, but I just think $65 is a stretch. So we have that crew neck, we have the drop shoulder. It's just a very boyish shape, something I'm just not often reaching for my running tops. The length is about a high hip, so I do show a little bit of skin when I raise my arms with these mid-rise shorts. It's a relaxed fit. This is a size small, and it's definitely flowing away from the body, not tight anywhere. Very lightweight, very stretchy. And then the back is just very simple. You have some of that little logo detailing that's reflective. I know their whole price point is a little on the higher side, but I feel like for only a couple dollars more, you can get a sports bra with like 6 different pockets, and the prices just don't match up, even within a high price point brand. So let me know what you guys think. Am I being overly critical? I just don't think so. All right, the last pair of shorts from them are the Vento women's 3-inch split shorts. And I actually got these in an extra small because, again, they were all sold out in every color in a size small. And I still wanted to try these, but take it with a grain of salt because I am not an extra small. So these are going to be too small, so we're not really gonna judge them too much on that. But these definitely intrigued me because they have a split side. And if I'm gonna do a loose running short, I do like a split side. So these are $88. We have that same elastic waistband that we had on the Stamina 7-inch shorts. Throughout the leg, we have the lightweight soft shell Vento material, and it actually has little perforations all across the fabric everywhere. We have those bonded edges, and then we do have that split hem at the side. Again, we have a brief liner. I actually, again, one of the things that changed when I started doing running reviews is I actually prefer a brief liner on my running shorts if I dare run in a loose short. And this short has 4 gel pockets on the inner liner, but no phone pocket on this one. While I appreciate the bonded edges on their outer material, I feel like you could definitely get some chafing on this inner brief area because the area that touches the skin is actually quite thick and bulky. Here's that inner seam. This is what would go against your skin on these shorts, and it's just pretty bulky. In comparison, my favorite CRZ Yoga dolphin hem running shorts, they actually flipped the seam so that the smoother part is on the inside touching your body. So as a comparison, this is how smooth, and they actually use like a soft brush elastic on this instead of a regular seam. So that's actually soft against your body. So I feel like it would be nice if Bandit had that kind of feature because they're focused on the chafing on the outer layer, but the inner layer matters too. So let's try these on. All right, keep in mind, these are a size too small for me. So I think if I had the right size, these actually would be great shorts. First of all, they're already sitting at more of a mid to high rise. So I already prefer that a lot more than how low the last ones were. I guess the moral of the story is I just like their little elastic waistband because all of their shorts with this elastic waistband have been pretty good so far. I also just prefer an external drawstring because it doesn't chafe on the inside and it's just easier to access. Anyways, I love how lightweight and ventilated the outer material is. I still think the inside still has some possibility for chafing with how the seams are, but they are still very stretchy and I like a brief liner, so I don't mind it too much. Overall, I would say true to size because it's our size down, they're fitting a little bit snug. I'm sure in a small, they would fit totally fine. Then we have this split hem at the side. So when you move your leg, you are going to get a little bit of exposure there. If you get a little gust of wind while you're running, you could be a little bit exposed. So just keep that in mind. I personally like a split hem because you end up with this more draping fit rather than like a tight diaper-like fit, even if it could have a little bit more room, because if you have bigger glutes, it just extends a little bit more like that. So I definitely prefer this fit. They are quite short, but again, I think some of that is probably due to the fact that these are a size too small for me, but they are slightly shorter inseam than the last ones. And then we have some gel pockets on the inside, but that's about it for the pockets. Like I've been saying, you're always gonna get your thighs eating these up if you do have thighs that touch, but I actually prefer having a slightly shorter inseam. So if I ever change my mind about loose style running shorts, I actually would really like these. I just find myself not really reaching for them that much. I've been in my biker short running era, so I just find them more functional for my thighs, and they actually have side phone pockets, but this one is pretty good. To go with those bottoms, we have the Stamina Vela Race Crop. I got a size small, and this one was $82. And I think just looking at their bras, for me, when it comes to a running bra, I really like a molded cup pad, just like a lot of compression stability as well as adjustability, whether that's a clasp in the back or preferably adjustable straps. I just think that's a huge thing for a running bra. And while I appreciate that their tops have a lot of features for runners, I don't see a lot of larger chested runners going for these tops. They're just not the locked and loaded ultimate high support sports bras that I personally look for when it comes to a running bra. And I think this is my issue with a lot of running brands. They either like really focus on the bottoms or they really focus on the sports bras. And I would love to wear a set all together. I feel like I could choose a Bandit Running short, but I'm gonna wanna go with a Siricon running bra because Siricon just knows how to do their bras. So the girlies with larger chests wanna be able to run in cute stuff too. It's just such a problem. Okay, that's my rant. And I'm not even a big person, but I have a chest and my thighs touch and I struggle to find running clothes and I wear a size small. I can't even imagine how hard it would be if your body is even a little bit bigger than mine. I just feel like we need more variety in running clothing. Anyways, this is not anything against Bandit. This is just something that I've realized in my year of struggle with running clothing. All right, so we have this basically long line sports bra. We have a little mesh panel in the middle. It's made of that stamina material that does feel a little bit shinier on this one. Could just be because of the color. We do have a little elastic seam at the bottom there to keep everything in place. Lots of pockets on this one. You have two side phone pockets, one on either of the sides, kind of where your rib cage is going to be, but they don't have that waterproof liner. You have a phone pocket back here. Hopefully that's actually big enough to hold a phone. And then you have 4 kind of drop-in gel pockets. Just taking a look at the inside of this bra, we have a nice elastic right under the bust, which is definitely going to help with support, but we just have a double layer of fabric and there are no cup pads. I do prefer having cup pads in my sports bras like we've discussed. So let's try this on. All right, here is the race crop. I think if you have a smaller cup size, I actually love the features of this, but it's just not very supportive. So we do have that little elastic that goes, it's not even under the bust. It's actually like kind of in the middle of my rib cage. So I don't know if it's like meant to go up high like there, but now that I'm looking closer at it, I feel like this seam should go right underneath your bust and then the elastic is right there. So just doesn't feel like that's like placed correctly. All right, then we have that little mesh layer. It's actually 2 layers of mesh, so you can see a little bit in between, but I would still give this one like a medium coverage. It is quite a plunging V. We do have good side boob coverage though. And again, we have the double thickness of the fabric, but as we've been saying with this fabric, it actually just doesn't have that much compression to it. So personally, this one is only about a medium support and I would not recommend it for running if you do have a larger cup size. This is more of a crop length fit, so longer than a long line sports bra. You do get some extra coverage there. Depending on your torso height, you might not even show that much skin. Straps are very comfortable, and then these are meant to be phone pockets at the side. So it actually does fit my phone here. I think chafing wise, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to put a phone there because your arm's gonna rub against it unless you carry your arms very far out. So I probably wouldn't put my phone back there. I think there is one more phone pocket. This one is a little bit hard to reach. I'm like struggling so much with these sports bra phone pockets. I would need someone to put that in for me because this is just too difficult. All right, that's as deep as it goes. So honestly, I don't think this one is super realistic in terms of phone pockets. I think the sports bra made more sense to put a phone in, but if you're wearing this for a really long run, it does have a lot of those gel pockets. Overall, it's fitting true to size. I think they only had like 2 sports bra options on the website. They seemed like very limited in what they offered. Like they do have a lot of short options, but the tops, not as much. So I think that they could definitely improve in the top area. I'm just not super in love with this one. And lastly, we have these Stamina high waist leggings. I got a size small and these were $118. They only had 1 pair of leggings in stock. All of the other leggings completely sold out. So this is the only legging that I could buy. I hate reviewing black leggings and I hate wearing black leggings, to be honest. And listen, when I run, I do come home with butt sweat, crotch sweat. I just simply don't care because I was out there running and that is normal. Anyways, I generally hate black leggings because my house will just forever have cat fur. If you know, you know. All right, basically these are the same structure as those Stamina high-waisted shorts, except they don't have any of that silicone detailing. So the material is a sleek performance. So pet fur shouldn't be a huge issue. We have a slightly extended gusset. It's gonna stop around mid-thigh. We have a phone pocket on either side, not lined with that waterproof liner. That's honestly like my new favorite thing. We have a double thickness waistband with a little top band because it does have that draw cord on the inside. And then we have those little bonded edge gel pockets on the inside of the waistband. We also have those reflective logos. I have to say, I don't love their wordmark logo. I prefer their like fun bee logo. This logo, I just feel like it's almost awkwardly small text to the point where you're like, is that a brand name? So let's try it on. All right, last but not least, we have the leggings. Honestly, these fit very well. They fit me like a glove. Nice high rise. There is a little top band, but it's not overly tight on the waist, so I'm not getting any cutting in, but you still have the option of tying with that draw cord in there, which I generally just don't really need to do. This is kind of my ideal rise height for a running legging because leggings don't really stay up well past the smallest point of my waist. So this sits right at the smallest point of my waist, which is kind of where my leggings tend to settle. So I did just wear these for the past 20 minutes walking around my house and everything. And based off the like 15 other running leggings I tried recently for my video, these do feel like they're going to stay in place very well. We have no front seam, not getting any tension in the crotch either. It's honestly just very hard to find a no front seam running legging with functional pockets. So I'm actually quite happy with these. And then we do have our 2 side pockets. So first of all, they have that bonded edge seam to keep the pocket nice and flat. Seems to be pretty spacious, but it's fitting my phone perfectly and feels like it's going to stay in place well. I do wish that this had that waterproof lining feature. I'm not sure why these don't when the same design in the shorts does have that feature. So that would have been a nice addition. The material in the black, I'm getting about a medium compression in these, but these still just aren't a super compressive legging. And even though these are black, they are sleep performance, nice and pet friendly. In the back, the seams do go just right above the glutes and they're not squishing me down, but they also are running leggings, so they're not really meant to enhance the glutes. So solid medium on the booty scale there. And then we have all those little gel pockets nice and hidden in the back. Then we have a 26-inch inseam. They didn't list the inseam on the website, which I hate when people don't do that, because how am I supposed to know what the inseam is if you don't list it? These are about an ankle length on me. I'd say that they're pretty good. So yeah, overall, I'm honestly pretty impressed with how well these fit. I think if I was looking for a no front seam legging with pockets, these would be pretty good. I also know that they do make this version of the shorts with the drawstring in a legging version, but they've been sold out every time I've checked the website, which has been frequently over the past couple months. I think now that I think about it, I did try to get these for my running leggings review, but again, they were sold out. So definitely turn on notifications if you're trying to get any of these. But yeah, these are definitely a splurge, but comparing them to something like Lululemon, I would say that they actually have quite a few similar features, except for the no front seam is gonna win me over every time. So I have come to the conclusion that sometimes I have to run with a front seam, but if I don't have to, I'd rather not. So expensive, but good. Okay guys, that is everything from Bandit. I'd say it was kind of hit or miss, but the things that I liked, I do think are done very well. Overall, I think the quality is definitely there. I didn't notice any quality concerns on any of the pieces. I think overall the most effort was definitely put into their running short and the leggings. I really liked those Stamina 7-inch running shorts. Honestly, if I saw another cute color, I might get another pair. Running leggings as well, it's just really hard to find no front seam running leggings with functional pockets that also fit really well and don't gape in the waist. So those fit me very well, and if they're in your price point, I definitely would recommend it. I think the one thing that's holding me back is that they just are so much more expensive than I'm used to spending. Even with brands that I wear a lot, like let's say Alphalete Buff Bunny, their leggings are like $70. So for an $118 legging, that is about $50 more, which is definitely significant. The bottoms I like the best were definitely those Stamina shorts, the splitty hem side looser style shorts. For the bras, I think that they have nice pocket features, but for me, I prefer a bra with a little bit more structure and shape. So I definitely think they could work on their bras because they also didn't have like a ton of bra options. But let me know what you guys thought, if you've tried Bandit before, if you have any other running brands that you would like me to try. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!